Kings fans, Jordan Kiss here. Kings back at home for the first time in a month for a doubleheader for 2 games against the Alberni Valley Bulldogs. And I'm here with the man who's been out of the lineup for the last little bit, but he will be making his return on the ice this weekend. He is Parker Lalonde. And Parker, it's been 12 games, nearly 2 months now since you've been out with injury. You're finally getting back in the lineup. How excited are you to finally return?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty exciting to get to play hockey again. I mean, it's been a long road back, lots of rehab and time away from the team, but all the work that I put in got me in this position to be able to play this weekend, so pretty excited for sure.
Well, let's talk about the last 2 months here, because the original diagnosis didn't sound very good with your injury, but again, things got better as time went on. And how's kind of been the process over the last 2 months, just trying to get healthy and back to game shape?
Yeah, I mean, initially we thought it was a lot more serious, and talking to other people and getting MRIs done and all that stuff, we kind of narrowed it down to a shorter timeline, which was good. And then I went home at Christmas break and got to see a physiotherapist there to start my rehab, and stayed there a couple extra weeks after Christmas, just kind of working with the same guys so he knows what's going on. And then kind of middle of January I came back and started working with the physio here and getting back on the ice and starting to skate more, and then eventually ramping it up to half contact and then up to full contact, and that's kind of how it's been for the last couple of months. Now,
you've been with this team for the last couple of weeks. Of course, when you're at home, you're watching this games. This Kings team, just 3 wins in those 12 games. But again, they've been right there, so many times over the last little bit here of the season. What have you seen kind of from watching from the sidelines out of this team?
Yeah, I think we're a very competitive group, and we can take it to teams when we want to, and there's times where we don't take it to teams when we need to. I think there's been a couple of our own mistakes that kill us more than other teams beating us. So I think we got to focus on the little things, paying attention in video, seeing what we're doing wrong, and we'll be fine.
And now, kind of before you got hurt, you were really starting to take shape. Your two-way game was really thriving. I know that's something you've been worked hard on this season. And I think talking after that game with Harry Mahesh, I think he said that was probably the best game, one of the best games he's seen you play. So obviously, you want to return to that form as soon as possible. What's kind of the game plan here as you return to action and try to get back into that form that we know that you can play at?
Yeah, I think for me, being a two-way player is kind of something I didn't struggle with last year, but didn't have figured out. And then coming back this year, I had a slow start, and it took me a while to figure it out. And luckily, I figured it out. And talking to Brock and Harry and all the coaching staff, they really wanted me to be more physical. And so, especially those last 2 games against Surrey, I'd been playing more physical, kind of being a little bit of an agitator, just going out there and trying to get under guys' skin, and it showed with how well I'd been playing. And then it's just unfortunate for me to get hurt in that game, but I thought that I played real well that weekend.
Now, as you start to come back, are you kind of expecting yourself to kind of be back in the form right away, or are you kind of giving yourself a timeline of maybe 1 or 2 games to really get back into shape?
No, I think I'm not ready to play if I'm not going to be at 100%. So I'm going to come back and try and play the same way as I did before. I mean, you obviously haven't played a game. Like, you can replicate games as much as you want in practice, but it's never the same. So there might be a little bit of rust, but if I wasn't 100% ready to play, I wouldn't be playing. So I kind of expect to be able to play at my top level for sure.
And now at the start of the year, you were playing on the wing, and since November you moved to center, and that seemed to really help you excel as well. What's kind of been the difference maker for you when you first got moved to center ice?
Yeah, I think usually down the middle you want a little bit of a bigger body, and we were kind of struggling at the time, so Brock just thought he'd switch something up, and it kind of fit well with the way I'd been playing and the way I needed to play in the D zone, getting down behind the net and being physical, and then on the rush having more speed built up already. It just kind of fit my play style and the way Brock kind of saw me, and so it just kind of worked out. And then getting to play with Gnarls for a long time, we had lots of chemistry, and it kind of just took off from there.
Yeah, and then let's talk about this weekend. Of course, 2 big games against the Bulldogs. This is the Bulldogs team that's rolling. But first off, this is a Kings team that's going to be much healthier and much more bodies in the lineup compared to last weekend within the injuries and Lexi Van, who could share a suspension. So just first off, like how much of a benefit is just to have pretty much almost everybody now back healthy and in the lineup this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. I mean, you look at last weekend, we didn't really play well enough to get even a point in either of those games, but we were also 9 forwards with Gary and Rudrud coming up, who played unbelievable, but that's not your real team. And so we were short-handed, and getting Jones back and Alexi and myself, it'll be just more guys on the bench playing the way we need to and kind of know the systems more and what we've been working on all year. So it's definitely a big boost.
Now you're playing the Bulldogs. They come into this weekend series. Hottest team in the BCHL, points in 12 straight games, which included a 10-game win streak. But this is a Kings team that's played very close games against the Bulldogs this season. What is it going to take to kind of shut those guys down tonight on the weekend?
Yeah, I think it's going to be about not getting intimidated by their success. I think we need to look at the weekend as they're just another team in this league, and we can compete with any team we want. I think we need to be physical on them, play fast, get pucks deep, not make any silly mistakes or turnovers at the blue lines. Get to the net, and we'll be fine. Well,
Parker, it's very exciting to have you back in the lineup, and wishing you all the best this weekend as you and the Kings get set to take on the Bulldogs Saturday at 7 o'clock, or Friday at 7 o'clock, Saturday at 5 o'clock. You can get your tickets right now online at tickets.palriverkings.com.